The light's reflecting off of my glass is weird. Oh well. Hi everybody. I have the flu. For realsies. Like I'm soups sick. I can't even laugh because then I'll just go into a coughing fit. That's why I sound like Joan Rivers. I apologize, okay?
We're never gonna make it on time. We can't wait for a cab. Taxi! Let's just make a run for it.
This is the first time in days that I've been able to do anything other than just rot in bed and watch Game Grumps compilations. Boy, I sure do love Harvester. I've seen that playthrough like 3 times now in the past few days because it's all I can think to do. To feel just slightly productive, I'm going to be doing a much more simpler video than all of the ones I had planned. Sadly, this was supposed to be like my important recording week, so there's just going to be a bunch of content that's going to come out for me where I sound like shit. Oh well, them's the works. But we're going to start off very slow. This is the first thing I'm recording since becoming sick out of like 10 things I have to do. And it's going to be the easiest one for me just to, you know, like I said, get me back to equilibrium. Today, oh my gosh, today we are going to be ranking every 5 Seconds of Summer album. This was something I kind of wanted to do with my friends, and I did do this, but I did the more scientific ranking where we were supposed to look at the albums from an objective perspective. I don't know if we did a good job at that, but that's fine. It was more for the love of the sport, I guess. But today I'm just going to be giving my personal opinions. If I remember, or if my friends are up to it, I'll ask them if they can send me their personal rankings. If they even have that down. I bet a lot of them don't yet. Let's just get right into it. No more pomp and circumstance. This is already going to take me a while to record because I'm going to have to take breaks to make sure my throat doesn't explode. I was going to try and pull up like a tier maker of some kind or something, but then I remembered I already have physical props, so I'm going to be using those. By that I mean the CDs, of which I have bought every single time an album has come out. It's just that with self-titled, I bought it online, I digitally purchased it, and then I don't have access to that email anymore, so I don't have it anymore. I paid all this money for an album that I don't even have anymore. So my friend got me a CD back in 2020, I think, as a Christmas gift. So thank you, Shy, for that. My ranking is going to be controversial, based on what I've seen on Twitter, specifically. Just all of the opinions that generally people who are active in the Five Sauce fam have. This might be controversial. And I just want to say, everyone's opinions are valid, okay? I'm not here saying that my opinions are more valid than others, even if I might, clickbait people into believing that. The beauty of the Five Sauce fam, this is something I've said in many, many videos, but the beauty of the Five Sauce fam is that everybody has such different opinions, everyone is so diverse and has such different tastes that, like, my ranking could be a complete inversion of somebody else's ranking, and I think that that's wonderful. I really don't think we all need to agree on these things, okay? I just want to make that very clear. So please be nice and respectful of my opinions is all I'm asking, essentially. So without further ado, let's get started. So the reason why I prefaced with this might be controversial is because I really mean it. Because at the bottom, we have Youngblood. Yes, this is the Michael version. I pretty much have the Michael version of every album. Oh, wait, I didn't grab my Michael version of Everyone's a Star. It's over there. Yes, I have multiple copies of the album. I'm sorry. So, yes, Youngblood. I really like this album. I really, really, truly do. I hold it very close to my heart. This I associate with a very specific point in my life when I finally got it, because famously when it first came out, I was actually not that huge of a fan. I was very disdainful towards this album, and yet I still went out and bought it the first week of release at Target. I can't explain a Stan's mind, okay? At the time, I was a dejected, edgy emo, and I just couldn't get this album. I couldn't appreciate it for what it was. I couldn't meet it where it was at. And so because of that, I always disliked it. So the fact that I love this album is huge character growth for me. And that's why I'm always so shocked to see it end up at the bottom of my list still. Let this just be proof that Five Sauce has so many good albums. In all honesty, it's probably closer to being tied with the next one on the list than I'd like to admit. And I go back and forth between swapping this one and the next one on the list, like, essentially every day. Some days I'm feeling much kinder to Youngblood, and other days I'm feeling like it deserves to be where it's at. But right now, I'm gonna have to leave it where it is, because if I never make a choice, then the choice is never gonna get made. That's some fucking fever discussion right there, man. Jesus Christ. I should have prefaced before I started officially, but what I consider to be a good album personally is one that is relatively short, so under an hour, but also not too short, so it's not just a borderline EP. So, like, within the 30 to 50 minute range is like the sweet spot for me. And there's as little skips as possible, obviously, because famously, I said this in my scientifically ranking Five Sauce video, how I like to listen to albums, how I conceptually like to listen to albums, like the idea is that I could like put it on my CD player, which is over there. Maybe I'll take a picture of it so I can show you my listening setup. I could put my CD on my CD player, hit play, go start working on something, typing on my computer or taking notes or whatever, and I don't have to get up to hit skip on a song that I don't like. If I can just like vibe with the entire record and not have to think about touching the CD player for the entire album, then that's how I know it's good. I would personally say that this album has like 3 skips on it. If I'm being generous, maybe closer to just 2. Famously, Monster Among Men is one of my least favorite songs ever, and it's definitely my least favorite Five Sauce song of all time. And it's on this album, so that's really what's bringing it down. But most of this is just such a good, solid listen. And then plus, since I have the Target exclusive version, I have the bonus tracks, so I have When You Walk Away, which is such a good Five Sauce song. I would do anything to trade Monster Among Men for When You Walk Away, even though I don't even think When You Walk Away is like one of the best songs off this whole selection, but yeah, I'd trade them in a heartbeat. So it doesn't feel right to say that this is at the bottom, but it also doesn't feel right to put it any higher, except on the days where I want to put the next album above it. Then that feels right. But right now, this is where she belongs. And this is still good. Like, this is still like an 8 out of 10. So, maybe a 7. Anyways, I love you, Youngblood. Please don't be mad at me, guys. Okay, so that was at number 6. Number 5, we have Self-Titled. Listen, guys. Listen, okay? This one might not be the most controversial. Well, I think most people, or at least a lot of people that I see discussing their Five Sauce rankings, will have Self-Titled at the bottom. And like I said, I could be editing this video in a couple hours and be like, damn, why did I put Youngblood at the bottom and not Self-Titled? These should be swapped. Like, that's very possible that I could feel that way in just a couple of hours or in a day or two. But right now, I'm really, really vibing with Self-Titled. Specifically just because I feel like I was a little harsh on it in my review. I still agree with everything I said, but part of me wonders if maybe it's my bias towards certain songs just because it wasn't on the edition that I personally bought back when it came out. 12 years ago already, damn. Also, it's the first record, so it's easy to say that it's their worst. That's usually a good thing, when, like, your first records are at the bottom, because that means you've just improved over time, right? Although a lot of people do put this at the top. There's a lot of people who are ride or dies for Self-Titled. They really love that, like, 2010s emo kid nostalgia, that whole pop-punk movement and craze. Not much can beat the dopamine hit of those first 4 songs, genuinely. And I say this every single time I talk about the album, but like, it's hard to not talk about the singles because the singles are so perfect on this record. She looks so perfect. But this record does have my second least favorite Five Sauce song of all time, and also one of my least favorite songs ever, and that is 18. Should have stayed in the drafts, y'all. Should have stayed in the drafts. There are so many classics on here, and I would feel better keeping this above Youngblood if I had the UK release, which has, for sure, English Love Affair on it, one of my favorite songs of theirs of all time. I'm still struggling so deeply to get my official, top 20 Five Sauce songs, which was the whole reason why I started this project in the first place. Isn't that funny? I still can't do it. I'm going to rank every song of theirs, but I feel like that's going to take 6 hours, so That's why I keep delaying the inevitable. But English Love Affair is definitely up there. But since I'm a stinky American, I have the stinky American version with Mrs. All-American, which honestly is not that bad of a song, okay? I actually don't skip it. It's not a skip for me. I've said in the past that this album does have 3 skips for me as well, which is why I kind of consider these unequal playing field, because they both have 3 skips. But honestly, it also only really has 2 at the end of the day, with 18 and Everything I Didn't Say, kind of. But even then, you know what? That's a cute, innocent song. Nothing wrong with it. So this might just only have 1 skip on it. Or 2 if I'm feeling spicy because of Mrs. All-American and Everything I Didn't Say. So that's why I feel justified in putting it above Youngblood. It has less skips. I vibe with it more in terms of just like listening all the way through. And it really fits the time and place in the era, in the same way that Youngblood does. These really were symptoms of their time, of their release, in a good way. I want to say they really occupy the years of 2014 and 2018 very, very well. That's for sure. Oh, I should mention my favorite songs from each record. I should do that. So for Youngblood, my favorites are definitely Meet You There, and Why Won't You Love Me, and Talk Fast, Babylon, More, so many classics. Great record. Self-titled, favorite, the first 4, obviously. She Looks So Perfect, Don't Stop. Yes, I mean Don't Stop. Good Girls and Kiss Me. Standouts for sure are End Up Here and Long Way Home, even though I do like the live version of Long Way Home more. And you know what? Besides You, so damn good. Again, even if I do prefer the EP version of it. Still a classic track. Okay, number 4. For number 4, I have to say Calm. This one was shocking for people to hear from me, that I liked Calm so much, because famously I'm seen as a sort of degenerate emo kid, so people automatically assume that like Calm and Youngblood would be at the bottom of my ranking. And to be fair, I do live up to the stereotypes, because Youngblood is at the bottom so far. Sorry if I'm adjusting my sleeves. It's because I got this shirt at the thrift store. It's a cool Saw t-shirt. It's like an original like merch from the day, but the sleeves, both armholes came ripped, so I have them like safety pinned together. I shouldn't have bought it considering it was ripped, but like I just thought it was so cool, and it's so comfortable. It fits me really well, and it's very comfy. So anyways, Calm is just one of those records that I just vibe with so much in a way that I really wasn't expecting, because again, I didn't like it when it first came out. I was that stereotypical dejected emo kid when Youngblood and Calm came out, and I reacted very negatively to them. Still bought them at Target, though, release week. Although I had to wait 2 weeks because there was famously a CD fiasco when Calm came out, but that's not the discussion for now. Over time, I really just enjoyed listening to this album, just putting it on, and just letting it wash over me as I do things. It really does just like really envelop you in its entire ethos, I guess, which is really sad. See, that's the thing. I am emo at the end of the day. When there's sad shit, I like it more. It's going to become more obvious as we go up the list. There really are no skips on this record for me. Again, if I'm feeling spicy, maybe Old Me, but even then, I just kind of let Old Me just do its thing. It actually doesn't disturb, like sonically, it doesn't disturb the record all that much at all. In a way that like Monster Among Men does on Youngblood, and lyrically in a way that 18 does, where I can't stomach through listening to either of those tracks. But Old Me, I'll deal with her, especially on days where I'm really focused or something, which this album helps me do. There are so many good songs on this record. It's really a shame that this came out in 2020, so they didn't tour for this, because I can imagine just how like cool some of these songs would have sounded live on a set list. This really is the perfect pandemic album in terms of sound, which is funny because they never intended it to come out in 2020. If everything went right, it was supposed to come out in 2019, but they were just really good at predicting that stuff, I guess. The Live from the Vault track versions of the singles are genuinely some of the best stuff that Five Sauce have ever done, because it's able to capture that energy that they have in their live settings, into an actual track you can like easily stream and basically just pretend it's the single if you really want to. But even then, the actual songs themselves aren't bad. Like, we like to joke and hate on Easier studio version, but it actually is pretty good, especially in the context of the record, even, not having to listen to the Live from the Vault track versions. Which, by the way, I have 3 of, because again, I have the Target exclusive, so I have Easier Teeth and No Shame Live from the Vault. If you've never heard No Shame Live from the Vault, it's essentially the version they performed in the 10-year anniversary special. So there you go. Yeah, this record's really good, and I feel like it's the most underrated Five Sauce album currently. Maybe that's just my controversial opinion. I feel like no one's having discourse about her. Maybe that's just because she's just unproblematic, staying in her lane. Moisturized. Not me. I'm not moisturized. I'm not moisturized for shit right now. I just realized you might be able to hear my neighbor, who, it's currently 1 in the morning, or almost 2 in the morning, dear God. So it's not his fault, but he clearly falls asleep listening to, like, cop procedurals, or, like, NCIS, like, those, like, harrowing, like, cop shows. And he clearly listens to it very loudly when he falls asleep, because you can hear it through the walls. So occasionally if you hear, like, a woman screaming, or, like, "Pa, pa, pa, FBI, open up," just know it's the TV, not real life. There are multiple videos where you can just hear my neighbors just fucking around in the background. It's most notable in my Radio Rebel video, in like the opening scene where I look all beat up or whatever. Like, you can fully just hear my neighbor ranting to somebody over the phone behind me. It kind of sounds like maybe the TV's on in the background, but it's actually my neighbor, like, having a full-on, like, crash out to somebody over the phone. That guy had some real problems. He ended up getting expelled. Some standout tracks have to be Red Desert, Lover of Mine, Thin White Lies, Lonely Heart. Oh, and right now, Best Years. Best Years, so good. I love Calm so much. I'm going to listen to this when I'm done here. I'm in the mood now for Calm. Okay, number 3, we're at the halfway point. This is earth-shattering to me, that this album is only at number 3. Like, my mind kind of can't fathom this right now. This is so shocking to me. Like, even just 5 years ago, if you were to tell me this album is number 3 on my list, I'd be gaffed. Well, there were only 4 Five Sauce albums out 5 years ago, so that would mean different in context, obviously. But still, shocking. We have Sounds Good, Feels Good. Now, I know it doesn't look like Sounds Good, Feels Good because it's covered in tape. That's because, again, this is my original copy from 10 years ago, and it clearly has a lot of love put into it. Here's the thing about Sounds Good, Feels Good. It came out when I was 14 years old, or 13, I'm forgetting now. But yeah, I was that age when this album came out. Here's the thing about music that comes out when you're that age, or music you listen to when you're that age. It stays with you forever. It forever alters and shifts the way you listen to music. It's just how your brain works, okay? You can't stop it. So it's kind of not fair to the rest of these albums. And this one used to be my number 1 album for so long. That's what I mean when I say that it's hard to say that this is only number 3, because, man, Sounds Good, Feels Good has such a deep place in my heart. I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for this damn album. It really is told in 3 separate, distinct parts. The lyricism was a huge jump up from the previous record, and there's just so many classics on it. However, there was one skip on it. There's one singular skip on it, and that is Broken Home. Now, I've justified this take in my review. I've made reviews of all of these albums, except for Everyone's a Star, which I've already recorded. It just hasn't been edited yet. I grew up with a single dad, and I cannot relate to Broken Home. So, sorry. I do come from a broken home, and it just doesn't do it for me, okay? Talking about authenticity, man. That's what we're looking for. I don't really feel it from Broken Home, but to other people who love it, I'm glad. I'm really happy that song can resonate with people. It's just not my favorite. As someone who grew up loving, the classic emo music, as well as pop punk and, contemporary rock at the time, and pop music, this really did everything for me, And the fact that it's long and I still like it says a lot. It's like over an hour, I think. It's like an hour and 12 minutes. I think also including the bonus tracks, which are stellar. Story of Another Us is a completely underrated track. It's so good. It actually pairs really well with the She's Kinda Hot EP, but we can't talk about the EPs today Maybe one day I can do a separate video just ranking the EPs and then kind of showing what the whole ranking would be. That might be fun. Standout tracks, oh my gosh, there's so many. But Outer Space Carry On, one of their best songs ever. So good. So much lyrical material to dive into. I could just say like the entire final 5 tracks on this record, just absolutely stellar. Jet Black Heart, Waste the Night, Vapor, The Girl Who Cried Wolf, Castaway, Airplanes though, really close to my heart. Fly Away, San Francisco, dear God. Too many good songs on this record. It's genuinely so good. Oh, and Permanent Vacation. I just saw a tweet about how we need to talk about Permanent Vacation, and I agree. We need to talk about her more. Great record. So good. Okay, final 2 records. We should just breeze through these, because I'm already starting to lose it physically, and I've only been recording for like 30 minutes. Okay. This is the newest edition. It's Everyone's a Star. I was going to try and lead it up more like mysteriously, but as soon as I said newest edition, it was like, well, duh, the album's only been out for like a couple of months. I'm like, is this really above Sounds Good, Feels Good? But I think it has to be. It's a bit short. It's on the opposite end of like my sweet spot. It's like too short to a degree. The bonus tracks help, but also like I wouldn't really put them like on the main album, so like it's fine. The singles have never been as good as they have been for this era. The like track listing is so good. The thematic resonance is really at an all-time high. I haven't talked too much about theming, but it is very important to note how Five Sauce have reinvented themselves for every era. Each era has its own distinct like color palette and visuals and like outfitry. There's not many other boy bands doing it like your favorite boy band is what I'm trying to say. And this just highlights the fact that they can still fucking do it. Even like, how long have they been a band already? This year in December is going to be 15 years of Five Sauce, right? Dear God. No one's doing it like Five Sauce are doing it. And this is just proof that they are still at the top of their game, creating good stuff. Even in their ancient old age of 30. The music is fresh and modern without sounding like it's trend chasing. It still sounds very true to them. And it really does. Again, while I don't believe that Five Sauce have ever had restrictions in the type of music they were allowed to make, this one feels like they were really just truly doing what they wanted to do and not caring about any other expectations from them. I think the singles are clear examples of that. They would not have even released those songs, or they would have been like alternate versions, I feel like, in a different world, because they would have been having different goals for themselves as artists in different parts of their career. But clearly their goal now is to just be the truest authentic version of themselves. And that is just, you can feel it through the music. It's the most Five Sauce record that can probably ever existed, honestly. And part of me was wondering, is it number 1? But like, I really didn't want like recency bias to like take over or anything. But it still feels like it's higher than Sounds Good, Feels Good to me, because there's no skips on this thing. What song would you ever skip on this damn record? There's so many good ones on here. I mean, standouts, it's just the whole track list is a standout. It doesn't even feel like I can only single out a couple of tracks, you know? Like, Everyone's a Star, Telephone Busy, Not Okay, Boy Band, Number 1 Obsession, like, these are all so good, and that's half the damn album. I gotta point out The Rocks, though, as, like, probably the best Five Sauce song, honestly. It's so high up there now. I've been loving it. I've been spinning this record a lot, obviously because I finally recorded the review for it, but also because I lost power. I've been losing power, like, a lot these past few months, because we've been having some crazy weather up here in the mountains, and I live in an ancient building, and so I lose power now. It's a thing, apparently, that can happen. So I have my portable CD player that runs on batteries, so I can listen to my music without risking, running out of phone battery or whatever. By the way, have y'all ever seen my case, my phone case, I was about to say my lock screen, but no, my phone case, look at that. It's Michael. Shout out to my friend, Shy, for making me the Michael photo cards. I got plenty more, not just this one. This is just the one I was vibing with lately. Five Sauce need to sell photo cards. They better be working on that for merch this year for the tour. I'm seeing them twice, so I have 2 opportunities to get some. And we are currently in this era, so it feels better to say that, I guess. But, no, it deserves to be up here. Again, we get less and less skips the higher we go up. So you guys probably already know the math, and you probably already know what's number one, but let me kind of build it up a little bit, okay? There was a moment in time, as I've already alluded to, where I maybe wasn't the hugest Five Sauce fan. And I thought I had essentially moved on, or that maybe, like, you know, they just weren't going to be the artist for me anymore, even though I felt like they were literally the perfect artist created in a lab for someone like me who loves rock music but also loves the performance and the artistry that can come with being a pop star or being a boy band or whatever. I was huge into BTR before Five Sauce, that's for sure. So I loved the reinvention and the, you know, the performance of character, but also the fact that, like, they made the style of music that I liked, which was, like, really at the time, especially pop punk. God, the amount of times I listened to that stupid New Found Glory album, it's quite silly. So for, like, maybe 3 or even 4 years, from, like, 2018 to, like, 2021, I was a little bit dejected with them, and I wasn't really, like, following them in the way that I probably could have been, because I had become a pretentious critic as a teenager. When the 10-year anniversary happened, it was right when I was trying to do a retrospective on them, and I'm glad that the 10-year anniversary pushed that retrospective back, because again, I wasn't in the best place with them, and I think I really wanted to, like, refine my love for Five Sauce, so I thought me reviewing every album of theirs was gonna, like, open up some untapped discovery, you know, it was gonna lead to some sort of discovery for me, and I mean, it did. It really did. Forcing myself to actually re-listen to the records, like, just even a year or two separated from their release, really changed my perspective on them. And that all really primed me to listen to Five Sauce 5. It's number one still. I actually had a weird first listening experience for this record as well. I didn't really like Complete Mess when it first came out. I don't know why. Well, I know why, but we don't have to get into it. My big problem was that I kept expecting something from Five Sauce. I kept being like, this is the Five Sauce record I want, and if they don't make that specific thing, then I don't like it. But that's stupid, because I'm just a silly person. I'm just a silly critic, or whatever I want to call myself. Like, my job isn't to tell Five Sauce what to do. It's Five Sauce's job to make what I want to hear without even me knowing what I want to hear. And they do it every time, and I don't even realize it until way later. So this album was what helped me realize that, like, their creative vision is the thing I'm most interested in, not whatever thing I expect them to be. This really enlightened that for me. I cried 6 times watching The Feeling of Falling Upward, the live performance. I paid $20 to sit there and watch it on my dingy laptop and cry 6 times. That happened the day before the album came out, by the way. So most of these songs I heard live, performed live, like, and in Royal Albert Hall on my dinky laptop. But this is some true artistry that I still can't get over. I talked about this album for 2.5 goddamn hours on my channel. Why did I say my album? That's so funny. The lyrical material is extremely unmatched. I think Everyone's a Star, obviously because it came out after, has the same equal, if not better, like, penmanship. But this is the one that still really speaks to me. And this is such a stereotypical number one pick, I think, for me. I mean, most people still say that Five Sauce 5 is their favorite Five Sauce album, for good reason. Although it is also kind of underrated, and that's probably just because it is their softest album in that sense. Maybe it feels better to go for something a little bit more bombastic, like Youngblood, or something very nostalgic, like Self-Titled. And this is probably the pretentious critic pick, because that's just kind of who I am at the end of the day, honestly. Just a few hours ago, I was listening to Emotion by Carly Rae Jepsen. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just one of those people, I know. If it makes anyone feel better, I've never, like, really read Pitchfork before. I'm not, like, a huge Pitchfork head. But even the deluxe edition of this album, which has the happier ending, this is actually the standard edition, so it ends at Redline. One of the most depressing Five Sauce songs ever, so that means it's one of the best. I have the deluxe edition on my shelf over there, don't worry. That's the main version I listen to. It's just, I have 2 copies because, you know, the one that I read like a fucking poetry book in my video, yeah, it's over there on my bookshelf with the rest of my poetry books. Oh, it's so lame when you say it out loud. Let's wrap this up. We gotta wrap this up. We're running out of stamina. Both my camera and me. everything about it, from sequencing, again, like I said, lyrical material, the production. This probably has my favorite 5-sauce production on it. Michael Clifford, you're a genius. The only reason why I would say maybe it didn't get the flowers it really deserved when it came out, and it still was pretty popular. Like, it still got plenty of love and attention, especially from the critics. The critics actually fucking liked this thing when it came out. Probably the first time the critics ever, like, kindly reviewed a 5-sauce album. And I mean, like, really kindly, not just like, it's okay. It was released independently, so you could maybe chalk up some of the marketing in the way that, like, Everyone's a Star has been beautifully marketed in a way that this album wasn't to an extent. But it's still, in my opinion, their best album. Standout tracks, I already said Redline, Caramel, Blender, God, Haze, Me, Myself, and I. That one fucks me up to this day in the same way that Permanent Vacation does. Easy for you to say, Take My Hand, Carousel, fuck, there's so many. The whole album. The whole album. Maybe if I'm with some buddies and they're not in the mood, we'll skip Older, but nope. Fucking love Older. Okay, there she is. Least best to most best. You can't really see 5-sauce 5 because it's a paper. It's a paper one, so it's like doesn't really look as good next to the rest of them. But there it is. There she is. This kind of looks like this is my number one. Wait, let me sort that out again. My official ranking. Yeah, isn't that awesome? Okay. I'm gonna go lay down and take some more Tylenol. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, check out my main channel where I talk about Disney Channel mainly, but also occasionally 5-sauce.